Let's take a deep dive into the most extreme features possible with AI and what they actually look like so that you and I can get ready. But first, how are World Tour teams adapting for this new future? It's actually hard to tell. There have been some media here and there about new technology breakthroughs, but they only seem to be a marketing tool. Even with Jumbo-Visma and the use of AI to work out exactly what their cyclists should eat and drink to perform at their best, it still seems like a marketing tool.
Basically, they created a system for us to put all these factors together, and they created a model, an algorithm, which can really predict the calorie needs.
Outside of this, there are papers around predicting best times in the Tour de France stages, mean velocity of Grand Tour stages, mean maximum power in races based on training data, analysis of physiological determinants of performance like ventilatory thresholds, but we have to look elsewhere to get inspiration about how cycling might look after the upcoming technological revolution. In other sports, this looks like referee support with Hawkeye in tennis or goal line technology in football, tactical behavior, automated training planning or rehabilitation, AI assistance for coaching, for team building and talent scouting, and AI-based assessment of injury risks in sports are some of the examples where AI techniques is currently being used. But none more than the AI system AlphaZero, a computer program developed to master the game of chess. I know, not exactly sport, but this is not one of those wowzer AI beats a person kind of games. In this game, neither of the players are human. In a groundbreaking chess match, one player was a traditional chess program loaded with human strategies. The other was an AI that taught itself to play. And this self-taught AI surprisingly outplayed the traditional program.
After about 8 or 9 hours, it was strong enough to be able to go out and defeat Stockfish, the incumbent world champion.
This AI, called AlphaZero, learned chess not by studying the rules, but by watching games and figuring out winning strategies on its own. Before that moment, all of the game playing was done algorithmically. So you move here, evaluate this, do math like this.
Traditional chess engines like Stockfish basically consist of a huge database of rules.
This is similar to the programs we've seen pop up in cycling, rules-based systems. At a basic level, a rules-based system is when you give a computer a rigid set of rules that says if this happens, then these are the possible outcomes. It's safe to say that almost all training apps are rule-based systems at this point. These are where you fill in the details about yourself and your goals, and the software generates a training plan and is also making changes if you miss a session. But this seems like less revolution and more evolution, supercharging modern training logic, kind of like Trainer Road's adaptive training, with different names for the same concepts and running off linear logic. So using the same ideas as before, just with the ability to process more data into decisions. But this is not how AlphaZero worked.
AlphaZero doesn't have any rules. It learns through experience.
In other words, our best systems had gone from using human-given rules to win to using observation to win. So you can think of that as moving from algorithms to learning. That is a major deal. That ability to learn changed everything. It's what makes incredible tools like ChatGPT possible today. Beyond this, and specifically for cycling, we might finally get to move past things like periodization paradigms and better understand complex adaptive systems. The technique that's driving all of this is called machine learning, and it works like this. It's the idea that you give a computer a set of inputs and outputs and allow it to create the rules that turn one into another, meaning that it might come up with rules that we didn't think of or maybe don't even understand. But making the AI models that can do all the incredible things now that you see now just recently became possible. And it's because the computers training them have gotten way more powerful. Look at this graph. You see it going up, and then around 2009, the computing power behind AI models just begins to explode. NVIDIA, a tech company that started with video games, has been a game changer for AI. They created a platform called CUDA, which made AI much smarter, almost like turbocharging its brain. CUDA, a computer platform and programming model that changes how NVIDIA's GPUs work from serial to parallel computing. And parallel computing is, so let's take a task and attack it all at the same time time using much smaller machines. It's the difference between a beehive with one giant bee who is able to do things very well, but one at a time, versus thousands of bees who are working on the same problem at the same time. The future of AI, especially what we call generative AI, is getting more and more exciting. It's about computers learning how to create new things like writing or images all by themselves. Imagine an AI that's like a creative apprentice. It learns by looking at lots of examples and then it starts making its own unique creations. These models have exhibited some incredible capabilities, such as the ability to produce human-like creative writing, translate languages, generate functional computer code, or craft realistic images from text prompts. But why should we want AI in the first place? Like, what's the goal here? In my view, the most positive, extreme case for AI that I've heard isn't how much better or faster it can do the mundane things that we already do. It's how it could leapfrog us to do things that we can't. And you might be wondering, how? Because of how incredibly good machine learning systems are at pattern matching, they can sometimes give us results that we can verify are correct, but we don't totally understand how it got there. The challenge with machine learning is it's like a black box. It gets better results, but we often can't see inside to understand exactly how it's improving. And this is where the system's power comes from. But it's also an obvious restriction. Something Trainer Road's Nate Pearson acknowledges in their adaptive training model, saying what we care about is just the outcome performance. Except it may also address major gaps in sports science research. Sports scientists usually want to figure out what are the mechanisms that make somebody faster, but we don't necessarily know. We are now at a point though, where we can learn the structure of any information. AlphaFold is a predictive model. It takes a small sample and fills in the gaps. So imagine how this can advance the understanding of the body for performance. Not understanding the why things work is something holding sports science and performance back.
But the important thing is this: we now have a software capability to learn the structure of almost any information. We can learn the structure of text, sound, images, their structure in all of this, physics, proteins, DNA, chemicals. Anything that has structure, we can learn that language. We can now apply the instrument of our industry to so many different fields that were impossible before. This is the reason why everybody is so excited.
And if you're feeling a little bit skeptical, that's fine. It's totally understandable, because I am too. We just don't know what's possible. I mean, right now, the current phase of analytics in sports is called descriptive because of the abundant data from sources like wearables, and it's analyzed using software like Training Peaks. Yet interpreting this data for decision-making remains a challenge. A future phase may be prescriptive analytics, which aims not only to predict outcomes, but also suggest optimal actions. And if it can work out why something works, then it could be better at putting the entire performance puzzle together. Think of prescriptive analytics like a highly personalized fitness plan. It uses data to figure out the best training for you, ensuring each workout moves you closer to your fitness goals. And then more than that, it detects things that couldn't previously be detected. But the most important aspect of this new era of sports analytics is the capability to get these insights as they happen. Sounds cool, huh? But we haven't spoken about the elephant in the room. The big issue that will help you and I get ready for this new era: information and the role of subject matter experts, such as coaches. Moneyball worked not just from data analysis. It was also because the A's had better information than their competitors. Same with subject matter experts. They have always relied on having better information than the athletes. However, this dynamic is changing. We are already seeing ChatGPT providing answers to domain-specific questions and building training plans, and this trend will only become more pronounced and asymmetrical over time. In other words, coaches have long relied on having better information than their athletes. But that's changing with the rise of machine intelligence. So where does that leave coaches and athletes? As I mentioned before about humans and machines, and as Brett King writes in his book, Augmented.
The only possible hope for human advisors is that they co-opt machine intelligence into their process.
Meaning, coaches need to be thinking about how they can deliver services that AI cannot provide. And there are many. These include, first and foremost, good communication and hand-holding, but also strategy, nutrition, mental health, sleep, managing overtraining, etc. Coaches could use AI training plans that can do the grunt work of athlete scheduling, and there's a high possibility that the underlying training science can be programmed into these. After all, not all coaches are PhDs in sports science. So in my view, we are better off using AI to free up us from the data and return to a more humanistic side of sport. At its core, coaching has and always will be an exchange of humanity, and the strength of this humanity is based on the strength of connection. I've heard some coaches say that you're doing it right when you get invited to an athlete's wedding. And while I won't go this far, the emotional bond between athlete and coach is the soul of performance. When I feel connected to an athlete, it's when I do my best work, when I can put myself in their position, when I can understand what they're feeling, what their reality in day-to-day looks like and feels like. When I'm connected, I'm invested. I jump for joy when an athlete wins. I take the hit when things don't go right. Imagine being Jay Vine's coach when he hit the deck in the welter. I turned off the TV and sat in disbelief, not wanting to see him and his dreams shattered on the side of the road. And then imagine getting the message from Bree, his wife, that he's back on the bike and he's caught the breakaway again. And the tears shed from the bittersweet joy of coming third on that stage. It's moments like these that can't be replaced, because it's moments like these that make me do everything that I can to help someone reach their goals. A coach does more than build engines. We talk about life. We help build athletes' belief in themselves and point them towards their potential, all while supporting them in building the skills they need to be the best that they can be. I feel a mix of emotions when thinking about the impact of coaching in the age of a technological advancement, particularly in the field of machine learning, because the potential for deepening our knowledge is both thrilling and overwhelming. As machine learning systems continue to improve, there's great anticipation for what they can be used for. And it's natural to be conflicted when faced with such uncertainty. While it has the potential to enhance coaching, training, and performance, and even make us more human, we need to be more human to get through it, as there is also the possibility that it might not deliver what we truly want. So even as we explore these new technologies, we still need to have trust, belief, and faith in each other, so that no matter the outcome, we are still better off as we witness this technological revolution unfold.